Mike D'Antoni's Rockets win going away over Utah. Here's the coach.
Mike, what did you take away from Eric Gordon tonight, especially his defense on Mitchell?
Well, Eric is, one of the better defenders in the league, without a doubt. Nobody ever talks about it because he's pretty understated, but he's so strong, and then he can put, nobody can post him up. He puts his chest on people, keeps them out of the lane. I mean, he's just really good at what he does.
Mike, in general, why do you think you guys were so effective defensively, keeping them really from getting in any kind of rhythm?
We've been doing that for a while now. I don't think it's particularly against them. I just think that, for the last 2 months since everybody got healthy and locked in, and we've had the same rotation, more or less, same guys in that mix that understand exactly what we want to do. We can get better from this. We've fouled way too many times and put them on the line. That's something that we have to cure for next game. But it doesn't surprise me that we can defend at all.
122-90. The final as the Rockets take game one over the Jazz. We welcome you to the show, watched routinely by billions around the globe,
I think
depending on the night.
For the first night, we got a couple billion tonight, Ernie.
A couple?
Yeah. I think we're going to break a record tonight.
We will see. We'll have Shaq count them all up before the show is all over. It's Inside the NBA. It's presented by Kita. There's Shaq, there's Kenny, there's Chuck, and here come the highlights.
Oh, my
of the
God.
Jazz.
We got to watch this same crap.
Come on.
Let's wear the first game first. Yeah, come on, Ernie.
Because Jeremy's the producer, and this is the...
Who's Jeremy?
Jeremy Levin upstairs.
I wouldn't know Jeremy walked in here with...
Oh, there's James for three, and then...
Hey, listen, we're going to go to plan B on this defense. No, this straight to the basket thing, man. It's not...
Hey, don't let them go right, whatever you do.
They better go right.
Oh.
I mean,
don't let them go left.
Dude, come on.
Oh.
You can't just let a grown man that's in the NBA, who's the MVP, just go straight to the basket, right-handed or left. Look at that. Come on, you can't. He is the MVP, man. You're saying the MVP of the league. Look at that. Not go right. It's impossible for the MVP to be able to go right. That would be incredible. If he was that bad a player, he'd still be in college.
I wonder what the analytics going to say about this game.
15-point game at the half. Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, we got to pick it up a little bit on the defensive edge, Jazz. That thing ain't working.
8-point game at this point, and then Chris Paul going inside. Lots of points in the paint. We'll talk about that.
Well, unfortunately, that was their plan, believe it or not. Man, that's he missed it.
Got him.
And Eric Gordon splashes it home.
Oh, my gosh. And he's still getting it off.
29 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists for the Beard. Kenneth Faried.
He's been a great pickup for them.
And how about Daniel House?
Is that Eddie House's son? No.
Daniel House again.
I'm just asking. I mean, how many people in the world you got last name House? A lot of people. How many houses you know? 2. I know 2 right there.
Thank you. Eddie House and Daniel House.
That's it. Thank you.
I know
Michael
House.
And Tom House. Remember Tom House?
I remember the baseball guy.
He's the guy who caught Hank Aaron's home run.
Hey, shout out to the great Hank Aaron. Saw you on TV tonight. I know Minnie. Oh, that's Mouse.
Henry Aaron's looking great.
He is good. He's awesome.
122-90 is the final score.
You like that joke?
The points in the paint. Houston averaging 33 points in the paint, last in the league. They go for 62.
Come on, because you let the guy run into the lane.
And only one game this season did they have more than that. They had 64 one night in December, but they had 62 tonight. All right, well, let's talk about that.
It's impossible. Well, let's just say this. Okay, let me make my first point. That defense ain't going to work. When you just let a guy go right. Like, you can shade a guy, but you can't let... So... This is what I'm thinking. Their game plan was to take James off the three-point line, but the problem is every time Rudy Gobert come to help, Capella got a dunk.
A lob.
So you can't do both. You can force him right, but you can't let Gobert be the guy who comes up, because that just opens up more lobs.
What they should Kenny mentioned this earlier. What they should do, just play him straight up. If he goes left, he goes left. If he goes right, he goes right. Because what's going to happen is he's going to play with the ball a lot like he usually does. He's going to keep everybody else out of rhythm. If you just stand up there, let him ride, the defense come, he's kicking out to other people. And that's why they have balanced scoring.
Yeah,
that was really good what you just said.
You're basically
normally just say, why don't you just get the ball to the big
But he won't do that because the big man is Clint Capella. Go ahead.
I mean, you're asking the MVP. You're saying, okay, he's the MVP of the league, and he can't go right. Like, that's impossible. He's the MVP of the NBA, and you're giving him a half-court runway to the basket. So it's really like a fast break. So it's like going right in a fast break situation. Any NBA player would relish that. Now you give that to the MVP, he's going to take. I remember, I know early in the season, I believe Milwaukee tried it and they had some success, but he had 46, I think, or something like that the night that Milwaukee tried it. It doesn't work for him. It makes the game easier. Double teams make the game harder for people, and straight up hard defense makes it. Yeah, but when you try to gimmick a great player, we're not fronting Shaq the whole game. He's going to just start pushing. He would have pushed the Keem further out to the lane, and he would have started dunking it every time. We're not saying, oh, we're not going to let Charles Barkley spin baseline. Like, no, then he jump hook you right all day. It's like they're the MVPs of the league for a reason. You can't do that. That's third grade. That's like a fourth grade basketball player.
So
he can't go left.
Quinn Snyder's a good defensive mind, and he has a good defensive team in Utah.
He doesn't need to do anything else. Because they're great.
What do you
go back to what you do?
The great thing about the NBA, we talk about it a lot doing college where they don't make any adjustments. They're going to have a different game plan by game 2. I mean, first of all, when you play a 7-game series, from game 1 to game 5, 6, and 7, we make 3, 4, 5 more subtle adjustments, Kenny?
Yes.
They're going to make adjustments. Now, that's what's going to be interesting, what they decide to do.
I have a question for the panel. We all know James can get 50, 60. Would you rather him get 60 and the other guys not be involved, or would you rather help on him and letting them keep kicking out the guys for threes?
I don't want them to get involved.
See, first of all,
so you want him to get 60 every night?
I don't want them to be involved.
I think, first of all, Shaq, yes, because two things. Number one, I think they get really stagnant offensively, and then James gonna shoot 10 step-back threes. And that shot's unguardable, but he might, if you go back and look, he's had some bad nights. But the way they're playing tonight, that's not going to work. But I'd rather James and stop everybody else from getting their numbers. They had a balanced attack tonight because they get so stagnant offensively. I think that hurt them at times.
Short time ago, Mike D'Antoni was asked about Utah's approach to guarding James.
Mike, they used that force James Harden right strategy and kind of trying to take away that step back. How have you guys improved on that game plan since the Milwaukee game, and especially from James' point of view too?
You know, to be honest with you, it's not that we improved. Probably we've seen it a little bit more often now, and James just adjusts to it. It's like he does with everything. They throw something at him, it might get him a little bit, and then he just figures it out, and they don't get him on it anymore. And that's why he's so good offensively. I mean, it makes me smile. It makes me laugh. I mean, he's just so good. I don't know what you do. No, he can have a bad game, and they'll contribute to something. No, sometimes humans have bad games, and you're not stopping him. I don't care what you do.
And to go on to what that's going in what you were asking, Shaq. If this was you, because you've been double teamed, triple teamed, both of you guys. How do you feel? How do you think James Harden feels today after this game? Do you feel exhausted, tired?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So when you make him take 30, 40 shots, you start wearing him down through the series. And that's your only hope, that he's not as efficient as the series goes on by taking that volume of shots. And then you're also getting guys who may have been in a rhythm in game 4 and 5 that's not in a rhythm. But you're not going to beat the Rockets in one game 4. You're not going to sweep the Rockets. So you have to hope for a long series to wear him down. But if you don't do that and you allow him to, he's going out tonight. He's going to go out, have dinner, go with his friends. They're going to have some good time because he's not exhausted after a performance like that.
Well, all starters in double figures for Houston, by the way, and they shoot 51% in the game. Go ahead.
But the point I want to make was, if somebody else said before the game, James Harden's going to be 11 for 26, only really have 29 points, you says, wow, he wouldn't have made an impact on the game. But because he had the other 10 assists and got everybody in rhythm, that's why that defense not going to work. If he go 11 for 26 and they play mano, and he go only 4 for 10 from 3, that's a great night defensively on James.
122-90 is the final. The Rockets take game 1 over the Utah Jazz. Twitter still very much alive at this hour. Yes, Charles, you did pick the Jazz in 6.
It's just 1. I didn't say Jazz in 1.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
It's only one game.
Okay.
When he doesn't know who Jeremy. We'll have to introduce you to Jeremy.
No, we don't.
Probably spoken to him and not knowing who he was. When we come back, more highlights. Thunder, Blazers in Portland. Stick around on Inside the NBA. Be one of the billions.
Binge NBA playoff action. Nets, Sixers, Clippers, Warriors.